Hello, hello. Well, I still haven't set up to play Resident Evil Code Veronica. So I have decided to keep playing Resident Evil Survivor. I was kind of wondering if I should play the alternate paths anyway. And yeah, I think I should. I'm definitely interested in doing it. Just to see what else it has to offer, because I did a little bit more research on it. Uh, and taking the alternate paths change up not just what you see, but also good lord, that was loud in my headphones. Oh, hey Cass, how's it going? Yeah, I decided today would be a good day for me to play. See, part of the problem, I'll tell you, is that I don't get off work till 6. And typically when I'm home, I try to do stuff with Rose. Of course, we're gonna eat. We might have to clean up, do a little bit of housework, and then by that time, it's usually 9 or 10, or you know. And of course, she often goes to bed very late, so it's like, well, all right. So
Resident
yeah.
Evil Survivor.
Oh, that's fine. I understand. It's definitely not early. I really wish my job had me go to bed earlier. To go to bed earlier. Had me allowed me to leave earlier. Because I could do more stuff in the afternoon. Oh yeah, I understand. Are you doing all right today?
Where?
Oh yeah. Any kind of testing, scanning, and all that kind of stuff. It can always be physically stressful. It really can be. But, you know, the worst part about it now is going to be like the anxiety and all that. But what I always like what we talk about in DBT and stuff is like, oh yeah, I've heard that's like just super uncomfortable.
You
Because I mean,
you look
that's
familiar, but
that's not a part of your body that's
uh,
supposed to be smushed like that.
mm, but I just can't remember. Ark Thompson, huh? Though I can't remember anything, I know that this was no way for anyone to die. What?
Oh yeah, just oh. Okay, wait, which path was I gonna take? I'm gonna take the church. Oh yeah, it's good it didn't hurt, but hmm. Yeah, it was like with when I got my upper and lower scopes done. You know, they knock you the hell out. Oh, that's great that they look good, or promising, I should say. That's really awesome. And of course, you know the most effective way is to just um, you know, like what we talk about in DBT. You know, they have one technique. They say, you know, cope ahead. Take up if you have something that's likely to to happen that's going to be distressing. You know, you sort of plan ahead for it, you know, but also be mindful that until it's possible for you to know, you know, that you don't know that it could be good or bad. You know, whether one is more likely than the other. It's like, yeah, you don't know, and you don't want to psych yourself out too much. Uh, you know, worrying about what it could be until you can know what it is. You know, because that's the worst part. Anxiety, it'll kill you. I'm trying to get the sound of my headphones just right. Because if it's too loud, I get that sensory overload, you know? If it's too loud in my headphones, it makes it hard for me to talk. So I'm trying to adjust it. And I think I might have spilled something on or something because the button's a little gummy. So it's hard to get it just right. Guess I could probably always adjust it on the... Here we go. There we go. Oh, yep. They like to call that catastrophizing is what we always mention, because it's real easy to think that, or it's real easy to tell yourself that it's completely and utterly hopeless, you know. And even if it's a decent possibility, um, you know, it's sometimes, well, yeah, it's just one of those things. Because like, especially with, like I said, we talk about with DBT, a common thing that people use it for is because they do have a tendency to create a lot of their own distress, you know. Which is not like they're saying there's anything wrong with having that distress. It's just, it's kind of like psyching yourself out, you know. That's also why, like, with judgments and things like that, that's why they talk about one of the effective things in mindfulness is non-judgmentally, which includes being non-judgmental to yourself, even about being judgmental, you know, because you're allowed to have judgments. You just have to be mindful about what they are, you know. It's sort of like taking personal responsibility for it, you know. Instead of saying something is or isn't, you say, this is how I feel about that thing. Let's see, today the leaders of each section of the city, including myself, attended a meeting with the commander. The briefing was on the destruction of Raccoon City. During the conference, everyone placed blame on William Birkin. He betrayed the company and wanted to keep the G virus for himself. The commander told us that if there is a traitor like Birkin in this city, we should execute him immediately without question. I wholeheartedly agree with the commander's orders. This city is vital to Umbrella, as that laboratory in Raccoon City was. No, it is actually much more important. We must not allow a biohazard to happen in this city. We cannot let Umbrella's efforts to buy the city and establish these billion-dollar facilities go to waste. We should keep a closer eye on the behavior of personnel in the future. I would think that if you have any sort of biological research or pharmaceutical company, you would be vastly worried about their behavior at all times. I mean, I know I would. I mean, arguably, that it's related to what we had to deal with a few years ago. Yep, cautiously hopeful. Yeah, that's actually a great way to look at it. You know, I mean, the good thing is that you were being mindful and that you detected it, that you detected a potential concern, early enough, and that even though it's difficult for you to get that because of your health care and everything, you're still taking the effort to go and get it checked. And that's hell, what is it? Don't they say early detection is key or something? But it really is. Oh yeah. That's part of the reason why I got those upper and lower scopes. That not only did they say it was probably a good idea anyway, they said I felt like it's probably good anyway just to double check, because stuff like that can be extreme, especially if you're having GI issues. It could be extremely difficult. Having something like colon cancer or something like that can quickly become a major problem. Because it's one of those things that a lot of people may not even notice until it becomes way worse. Luckily, mine came out clean, but what I've actually found out is that exercising has done more for anything than any medicines they threw at me. Which I hate, because now I'm in debt for that upper and lower endoscopy, but whatever. I've got plenty of debt already, so. It's one of those things. It's like, well, yeah. Just bring it over to the pile and just stick it on top. Yep. Like I said, I figured it's probably a good idea. Plus, you know, I'm getting older, and it's like, yeah, even though it might be a little bit early, it's about time anyway to start checking stuff like that. Because I think they only tell you to do it once every 12 years or something anyway. Or maybe I pulled that number out of my ass. I don't know. It's something like that. They say once every handful of years to check it. So it's a head start. Mm. It reminds me of a bit, what was it, a bit Louis C.K. 36. 36? Hold on, 2023. Yeah, I'm 36. I have to think, because all the time I forget. God, I hate these guys. God dang it. It's like after a while, it meshes together, and you're like, it's pretty much the same thing at this point. Like age matter, like the specific age you are matters so much more as you're younger. That's why kids say like, oh, I'm 7.5. Now you just say, whatever. I'm in this decade of my life. Once you're past 25, it no longer matters really. That's the fun part about it, at least. Yeah, I always have to I always have to think about it because, you know. Hell, Rose, she just started just a few years ago. She just started just saying that she's 30, even though she's not. She's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm 30. It's close enough to the truth, so. I'm like, yeah, I can't disagree with that. Oh yeah. It does kind of like it does creep up on you a little bit, you know. But you know, it also goes to what is it? They say you're only as old as you feel, which is somewhat true. Fuck. Get my ass kicked. Because heck, that's true. Yeah, I think that's one thing, is that age and experience is definitely an important thing to keep in mind. But I also, because like I know there's also some folks that, I don't want to say ageist because it sounds like it's like a bigger deal than it is. But there are some folks that do judge people too much for being younger and older. But like I'll give a great example. I used to work at one dealership. This is when I did mechanic work. When I still physically could.
Vincent.
I'm just gonna skip this cutscene because it's the same. The cutscenes I'm encountering are the same ones as the previous playthrough. So the last playthrough I went to the entertainment club, and then you can go to the library, the hospital. But I'm going to the hospital because there's a handgun I could pick up here that I like better. But what was it? So when I worked at this place, they hired a young guy who was 19 years old. Trying to remember his name.
I won't allow you to escape. You're going to pay for what you've done.
So in my prior playthrough, because I went to the entertainment club, they had these soldier guys pop up instead. But I think if I go to the hospital first, I have this guy.
Helicopter? No.
And I have to deal with him.
The cleaners have already arrived? They must want this mess taken care of very quickly.
Think how evil this guy is. Anyway. So, he was 19. I believe his name was Clayton. Yeah. Now, of course, he's 19. he's, as they say, young, dumb, and full of cum, right? And we all were 19, and every single one of us can say that when we were 19, we were idiots. However, being young, inexperienced, and stupid doesn't necessarily mean does not mean you're not an adult, and does not mean that you don't deserve at least some basic level of respect. And I felt like, and now to me, the guy annoyed the living crap out of me, admittedly, and I would rather not have had to deal with him. However, the way I like to look at work, and again, I know I'm not perfect on this. I try to do my best, but I say this is, I generally try not to let my personal feelings about someone affect how I treat them. I'm sure it does bleed through because nobody's perfect in that regard, but because as far as I'm concerned, I'm pragmatic about that. I say how I feel doesn't matter as long as it's within reason, right? If someone's an abusive asshole, then how I feel is hugely matters. Anyway, see, I tend to go off on tangents like that. Anyway, so they kind of treat this kid like an asshole, which I thought was stupid because it's like, now he's just a 19-year-old. Like, yeah, of course he's a little bit of an asshole. He's 19. What do you expect? But they kind of disrespected him a lot, and I thought that was just like unfair. But here's the goofy parts about it, right? Now, like, he ultimately left the job because he got a job offer somewhere else for more money. And he's like, hey, they offered me a little bit more money, and they didn't offer to give him anything more, not even a single solitary cent. And it's like, really? You guys don't value him at all to even offer him anything? Wow, okay, guys. You might as well just tell him fuck you and then kick him out the door. What the hell, right? It's so weird. But here's the thing that I think makes it crazy. The Master Tech, where the guy who's been working there for 20-something years, and he's been working on those types of cars for 20-something years. So, like, he's an expert on it. He could rebuild them with his eyes closed, right? He would have him do some work for him because, again, mechanics typically work on flat rates. So, they have to get as much work done within a certain amount of time because they get paid per labor hour. So the faster they do their work, the more money they make. And so he would have him do stuff for him, like while he's, I guess, rebuilding an engine. He'd have this guy finishing up a used car he got approved, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm fine with that because the young guy was getting paid by the hour anyway, so he's getting paid for his work. But the thing that got me about it is that means that the master technician, that his name was going on the tickets. He was getting paid for the work, which is a little skeevy, but that's not the biggest thing that I thought was wonky about it. It's the fact that the master technician's name and name is going on work that this kid did. But they still treated him like a dumb kid. It's like, you do realize that his work is being used as representative of an expert in the field, but you're not going to treat him with respect. It's like, I felt like that was bullshit because it's like, bro, if you respect him enough to let his work have your name on it, you need to at least give him some basic respect. And like I said, this guy's a young idiot. He bought an S2000, wrecked it, of course. He bought a Nissan 240SX that had a welded differential in it. So, I'm going to build it as a drift car. Sold that, bought an RX-7. Stuff like that. Like, he's an idiot. But that's because he's 19 years old. We all are. He's not going to get any better by you disrespecting him. It's kind of similar to the flies with honey and vinegar thing, It's like that doesn't mean you need to coddle him or kiss his ass or let him be stupid and then, et cetera, et cetera. But you do need to treat him with respect, Because, you're not going to bully him into being a into being a smarter, better person. It's not. It's just going to make him an asshole. Because it's kind of how abuse goes. Even if it wasn't really abusive, but still, abuse of any variety kind of pays itself forward. So let's see. William J. Smith. Will Smith, all right. Male, 17. Languid. Tranquilizer, 10 milligrams in soup for every breakfast. Hallucion, 5 milligrams of bread for every dinner. Jennifer Campbell. Mental condition, unstable. Yeesh. In the previous playthrough, they talked about how they had a lot of people they're experimenting on this island that are teenagers. Since she's been confined for a long time, she's become very suspicious. Well, I would think so. Putting drugs in her meals is ineffective as she rarely eats. It would be best to put tranquilizer into her drinking water. Well, what is it? The paranoid people sometimes are right. Yep. Like, and I think sometimes people do need tough love now. That's 100%. But I'm also, but I also like to try to give people plenty of fair chance. I'd rather walk away from a bad situation, than fight it. Just because it's easier. I don't like conflict a lot of the time. Let's see. According to the results, a vein tumor was found in cerebellum, worthless as a product. Oh, that's nice. They're calling this kid a product. Tranquilizer. Yeah. Like, even though this game is a little bit goofy, still, it's got plenty of good little bitty things in it like that, like giving the patient's name and stuff like that. You know, especially when they talk about experimenting on them and all that, humanizes them. Like, going to the prison also does a lot of that, because they talk about them being trapped and then trying to escape. I don't think this game is as bad as people made it out to be. Because I've heard a lot of people talk about how bad this game is, and it's like, it's not really that bad. Oh yeah. Thank you. I can go off on, you know, I can randomly go into 1.5 million topics. You should have seen my last stream of this. I talked about all kinds of stuff because someone else was chatting with me a lot. Oh God, come on. Get off me. Ugh. This game is stressful. Yeah, that's what usually gets me is sitting at work having to do paperwork, and then, of course, phone calls come in. So there's a little bit of customer service involved in my job. It's not that much because people don't have, because I don't have a lot of people don't have Mitsubishis, so I don't have that many customers, unfortunately. And a lot of times when we do, we have folks with much older cars. Oh yeah, I can be like that too sometimes. Whenever I'm not in a high-strung game that makes me panic. But it might end up being in that lot because I'm playing through all the Resident Evil games, and some of these can be high-strung. Like, I'm going to be playing the professional difficulty of Resident Evil 4, and that is going to be stressful. Because I don't think I've ever beaten professional, which is the harder difficulty. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, part of the reason I came here is so I could unlock this handgun. Yeah. Check. Oh, that's a cool. I'll tell you, one of the cross stitches I did was of the Desert Eagle handgun, taking the sprite from Resident Evil 2. That was very difficult to do because these games, being 32-bit, have a lot of colors, and you know DMC Thread doesn't have many colors comparatively. So I had to make my own pattern, do a lot of tweaking and stuff, but it ended up coming out looking really good, and I'm almost finished because I'm going to add some stuff to it. But like, these sprites are actually, they actually have really nice sprites here. The CZ75. Because I tested this a little bit out, and I really like this gun in this game. So it's interesting to see. I do own handguns and stuff. The one I typically carry is a CZP07, which is a polymer version of the CZ75 here in this game. I love it. It's fantastic. Yeah, I go to the range and stuff like that a lot, which I haven't been in a minute. Oh man, I'm lost. Oh no, wait. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, because I played this some and I got a little lost. Part of my problem is I have too many hobbies. Like, oh, I got cross-stitching. I got cross-stitching, I got a couple... What the hell is that sound? Oh, it's that TV. Thanks, game. Thanks for putting a staticky TV in this. Yeah, what is it? I got my cross stitching, got my firearms. I've got tools too, which, I mean, I'm big into cars, but it's not like I have anything special. I've got a Honda Pilot. Um, but I don't always do my own work either. But sometimes I do, if it's cheaper and it's something I can easily do. But sometimes it's just easier to pay somebody to do it. Because I don't have a lift or anything. That's the biggest problem. You gotta have a lift to do some stuff. But because I have experience in the field, I'm like, hey, I'll do my own work if I need to. Like, if it comes to brakes, I'm gonna do my own brakes. Most of the time. And I don't want to get rid of my tools, because that's one thing, is I'm a bad hoarder of stuff just in case I need it. Well, I might need this tool tomorrow, so I'm gonna keep it. You know, I have bought. I wouldn't say I have tools I've never used, but I think I might actually have tools I've never used. I've got so many flashlights, you would not believe it. I have to avoid going on tool trucks because I'll be like, ooh, that's a nice flashlight, and spend way too much on a flashlight. Tool trucks are a bad way to... Mechanics actually have a really hard time with this because the tool trucks, there's so many brands. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, I mean, I'm the same way. I got so many threads and stuff now. I'm like, ooh, that's a pretty thread. Let me buy these. Oh, what was it? Hobby Lobby had neon threads on clearance. Yeah, I bought one of every color. Of course, right? Well, what if I want to use them? I might want to use it. So, of course I did. And who knows, I might not ever use them, sure. But at least they're there. Oh yeah, I love the Hobby Lobby we have here. It's got the best cross-stitch stuff. The Michaels here is also very good too. We have a Joann's Fabric that's near my work, but it doesn't have a great selection, and their cross-stitch stuff is badly organized. Unfortunately. But, of course, they send coupons all the time, so they're not really bad, so we go there all the time. Yep, that's true, the holiday sales. Yeah, tools will get me crazy. I mean, when I say I've got like a bunch of flashlights, I have like 8 different flashlights, I think, of various kinds. Ones that you put you like ones that you put on your head, ones that you put around your neck, ones you can clip on your pocket, all kinds. But I will say this, they're not completely useless. First off, rechargeable batteries, always useful. But I'll tell you the biggest one is not the last vacation we took, but one of the previous vacations we took. We went to a north area in the state and stayed at a Yep. I can be like that too, where like sometimes when I'm waiting for group, because I go to group super early, I'll start working on my cross stitch while waiting in there, and then some folks will want to talk and talk and talk, and I'll be like, yeah, and you know, I don't try to be like, yeah, 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 or but I will be like that where it's hard for me to say much of substance because it's like, yeah, I'm sitting. It's like because I sometimes have to count the same thing 2 or 3 times to make sure I count it right because I will miscount even after counting it 3 times. I'm not saying they're being inconsiderate, but also at the same time, it's like, buddy, you know, it's like, well, maybe, actually, it's probably more me than anything else. Because it's probably me worrying too much that they won't like the conversation or something. I do have a tendency to do that. Especially if I have friends that are in kind of a rough situation. And I like might text back and forth with them. And I start to worry if they feel... If I'm saying... I wouldn't say the right thing, but something that accurately expresses both how I... Something that accurately expresses how I feel without kind of repeating myself, you know? Because, you know, friends that, like, I have one friend and she has to deal with, like, a lot. She's been dealing with a lot of stressful stuff. Like, she hasn't taken a vacation from work in, like, over 2 years. And she's, like, one of the higher up people in her work. So she has a lot of stuff that rides on her. Combining it with also having to deal with relationships, which, you know, of course, relationships are always going to be, difficult to work on. Like, even good relationships require work, like, no matter what. And then dealing with this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other, right? You put all that together, and of course, she feels like she's in rough shape, you know, and I kind of want to be like, pour out your heart and soul, but I also don't want to be like, oh man, yeah, that sucks. Like, I don't want it to sound insincere. I always have trouble with that, you know. It's like, no, no, no. I want to make sure that she knows, that she knows. It's, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And even if they talk about it a lot, I want them to know that I'm cool with them talking about it. I'm cool with them going, even if they have to say it a bunch of times, or they have a lot of similar stuff going on and they have stressors. I don't want them to feel like, you want to make sure that they know that you don't feel like they're burdening you or that there's anything wrong with what they're saying to you. But you also want to not want to say that because you don't want to put that idea in their head in case they don't have that idea, right? It's that conundrum. You're like, uh-oh. It's like, please don't. It's like, but you want them to know. Yeah. Oh, man. Like, sometimes you just want to be simple and just tell them how much you care and all that kind of stuff. Just make it easy, I don't know. It's like, look, if I could just transfer some energy to you, just do some, what is it, like Dragon Ball Z Spirit Bomb thing, here, take some of my energy, just positive energy. But I also don't like to say like sending positive vibes because I wouldn't say it's insincere, but I don't know. I like to say that without saying that, because I do worry about it coming across as insincere or whatever. And I don't think my friends would think I would being insincere, so a lot of it's more anxiety. But I don't know. I think what is when you care a lot, which I hope that doesn't sound conceited, but that's what it is when you do care a lot, you do start to worry. I'm trying to get something out of my tooth that's killing me. Oh wait, there we go. I know some of it is purely anxiety where you're like, I don't know. I know definitely it's some. Oh, yep. Like, you just want them to you want to help them be happy and not in a way where it's like, just a second. Yeah, you want to help them be happy, but not in a way. Dang it, what am I trying to say? Not in a way that makes them feel obligated to get better, you know? That's the way I want to put it. Because, we also, we also know that pressure. Oh, heck yeah. Like, that's also one of the things, just a second, I gotta check something. Oh, cool. Ah. Oh yeah, it's kind of like a double-edged, it's like that, not double-edged sword, but, it's kind of a twofer thing. Like, I like those guys that Conversation with Curtis. That's why, I get involved in their streams a whole bunch. Or at least I donate to them a decent amount. And then when I got a decent bonus a couple of months ago, like, I actually got a good bonus a couple of months ago, which made me happy. I was like, oh yeah, more money. That's one good thing about my position. I do get bonuses, but it does depend on how much gross we make. Which means that if we have a bad gross month, we get practically nothing. Because like last month, I got absolutely destroyed. Oh, nice. I was just seeing it. I started to actually... What did I stream the other day? The other day, I was actually drinking a little bit, and I tried to stream a little bit, but it didn't work out. So I had to quit. But you could tell I was inebriated. It's also because I get energetic when I get drunk. I'm definitely a happy drunk, I'll say that. But I don't drink very often, though. I have beers every once in a while, but I rarely get drunk. But sometimes I do. I wouldn't say I'm a social drinker, but I just don't drink often. It's like, I don't smoke. I do have cigars, and like maybe once every month or two, I will smoke part of a cigar. Because I don't want to get addicted. Oh yeah. That's the downside about me drinking, is that I do the opposite. I don't relax. I just get super energetic. So I don't really relax when I drink. I just get hyperactive. Which I know it's like a depressant, so it's like not... So that's not super common, I guess. But it's just like... I mean, I'm an energetic person anyway. I get manic very easily. I mean, I know that's part of that bipolar, but still. That's true of a lot of stuff with me, is I can sort of, at the drop of a hat, go one or the other. Which is kind of part about managing that, is trying to use it to my advantage. Getting manic when I need to do a lot of work. Oh yeah, well, actually, I wouldn't say this is lucky, but because among other things, my parents were very heavy smokers. It kind of made me really dislike smoking in general. Because, I mean, when I say they smoke, I'm talking about they were 2 packs a day each. They were chain smokers. Like, you know, some people, like, you can watch a movie where, like, somebody whips out a cigarette every 5 minutes and you're like, damn, this person smokes a lot. There were people like that, and they were exactly like that. They would just they would breathe smoke. So everything that they were around for a long period of time had that layer of filth from constant smoking. I had a car. Oh, yeah. That's good. Because I don't think it necessarily gave me asthma, but I don't know. I don't think I have asthma, but I do have a lot of mucus buildup at least. But I think that's from a post-nasal drip from when I got the flu a couple years ago. That messed me up. Where am I? Can I go down these stairs? I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. And what I really don't care for is, you know, a lot of people vape now, and that's something I can't stand. I really don't like vaping. What the hell? Oh, just zombies? Okay. This section is new to me because I didn't come here last time. Oh, okay, there we go. The animations to these guys are really weird. I can't really tell. I don't know. These guys have weird animations. Yeah, I know a lot of folks say that they're safer, and I think there's some instances where it can be safer, especially more so than like chain smoking, like big time. But I know at least for a while. Oh crap, what is this? Malsada? Wait, I have better weapons. And that's the thing that gets me with vaping. It's not that people choose to do it, which what people do with their I like to say is I'm in that mindset. What people choose to do with their personal lives is none of my business as long as you're not hurting me or anyone else, or anyone in general. Now, if you're hurting someone, I'm going to call you an asshole. And if there's some reasonable way, I can intervene. But, yep. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things. Where folks using it to quit, it's super helpful. But I think that the problem with a lot of people with vaping is that they do it all the time, every day. Like, and especially because some places don't have rules against it, I should say. Like, a lot of places have sort of wised up to it, but there's still a lot of places that don't, or at least even if they have rules against it, they don't enforce it. Like, my work actually does have rules against vaping as well, but they don't enforce it, so everyone vapes inside. And of course, people vaping constantly every day, and it's like, guys, like, I'm not gonna say it's worse than again, I'll go, you know, yeah, that gets me. They do it all the time. Oh yeah, well yeah, people can be really judgmental of the stuff that, you know. Which, again, I'm the kind of person, I'm like, look, you know, it's people's choices how they live their lives. Even if I would have personally disagree with it, again, I don't have a problem with people who smoke. I just wish the guys at my work didn't vape so damn much. God, they do it all the time. I've had to get on to some folks when they'll be in my office and they'll do it. I'm like, do not vape in my office. I've had to tell them, don't do that. Like, guys, you know. Because, you know, they'll do that. They'll blow that big cloud of smoke, and it's like, don't do that, buddy. It's like, I will hurt you if you do that. Oh, I need some health. Alright, let's see what I got. Please tell me I got a red herb. Oh, well. They also spend a lot of money on their little vape machines and stuff. That's another thing that kind of gets me. Like, you've really, yeah. Oh, yeah, people spend a lot of stuff talking about, there's Twitter drama, celebrity drama, YouTuber drama. Now, some of it's okay to talk about a little bit. I mean, again, if that's what interests you, okay, that's what interests you, but sometimes people get way too into it, and it's like, yeah, see, stuff like that. I don't even use Twitter. I mean, I have a Twitter so I can look at stuff that requires an account only, but I don't use it. Because I don't care for Twitter. I had, like, for a little while I had one, but like, it'd probably be better for my channel and other stuff if I did have one, but I just don't like Twitter. I don't like anything that makes you, oh, you can only type in 200-something characters. I don't like it. Yeah. It's definitely a good thing to have to help, like, grow your stuff, because...
Die, Vincent!
Oh, that voice acting. But then again, I'm not a fan of any social media, which I say that, and I, of course, still use it because, you know, we're a slave to all this stuff. But regardless of that, right? And of course, everyone has their different social media they use. Some people use Instagram, some people use Twitter, Facebook, whatever, you know. So you kind of, especially if you're trying to... Oh my god. What the hell? So especially if you're trying to build your brand. Like, I know people like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Come on, do I have any rounds at all? Crap, I'm gonna have to do this. Yeah. Oh, Facebook. Lord, don't get me on get me started on Facebook. The only reason I even still use it is friends that I have on it. Oh, I'm just gonna use the freaking Magnum. Yep. That's how I feel people like, I'm like, if we like, we can, I mean, that's what I tell people, like, you can always feel free to text me forever. It doesn't matter. Because I've got people that I've met through group. And, you know, the only way that we have contact with each other is through texting. And sometimes we might go 6 months and not talk, and then we can just get back up and say, hey, how's it going? Which is good because it allows us to meter out our social energy when we need. Plus, you know, God, come on. Who designed these guys? Oh, that was stressful. I know I saw a thing that said you fight these guys and that they are difficult to deal with. It's like, God, they are. Holy crap. Who designed this fight? Anyway, yeah. Because, although I'll tell you one thing about cell phones, I really don't like my cell phone. I don't like cell phones in general. For a variety of reasons.
So this is where the city is controlled from.
I think this cutscene's the same.
Oh.
Yep, I'm gonna skip it. Like, to be honest, if I could stay by my desktop all day, I would snap my phone in half. I can't stand it, man. Like, it's, and I'd go as far as to say it's pretty much everything about them that I hate. Like, I hate the constant things they want you to download, the advertisements, the tracking. Like, the way apps are designed. Things like that. And plus, admittedly, overusing. Oh, yeah. I probably should move around more than I do, to be honest, though. Because sitting in front of, just sitting at a computer all day isn't great for you, and I think that's part of what contributed to my GI issues. But regardless of that, for me, I think using the phone exacerbated some of my joint pain, like in my wrist and my fingers. And then I think it also like helped hurt my shoulder and neck, by like craning down, looking at it and stuff. Plus, I mean, as you can tell, because I go off on these like massive things. Oh God. Oh God, I can't believe I went back to this room and died. I was making sure it wasn't anything I missed. There's continues I can use though. So I'm okay. Really, dog? Really, dog? Oh, come on. I'm gonna get killed. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, I think I used it too much. That was the biggest thing, is because because I talk so much. Imagine that I also do that through text. I do use speech to text. However, even with the year we are, that technology is a little wonky. So I've had times where I dictated something and it came across as complete gobbledygook. And it's like, what the hell am I reading? And it's like, oops, I've got to, and I was like, oops, I've got to proofread it. Because if I don't, it's going to come across as I'm having a stroke. And I'm like, a little bit. I believe I messed up because I think it undid my fight with the alligators. Yeah, a lot of this is just kind of, I'm not going to say mindless, but there's not a whole lot going on here. Admittedly. Yeah, that's one thing I will say about this game, is it's a lot simpler. Because really, all you do is you kind of shoot monsters. Oh, come on. I think I'm going to die again. Yeah, just kill me. Damn it. This game is weird, unlike the other ones, because it doesn't have save points. You know, where you have the ink ribbons and you... Instead it has... I sometimes can, but other times I have to focus. Let's see, I need to do the shotgun instead. Really, game? Jeez, this game. Like I said, I would say that this isn't a bad game, but it's not a great game. It's like 1, 2, and 3 on the original PlayStation were all great, even with the roughness on some of the games. This game at the time it came out, I would say it's probably the worst Resident Evil game. But when you're also talking about the 3 greatest games made for the PlayStation in general, that's definitely like... What the hell? They died with 1 shotgun shot? Weird. Okay. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you too. Well, you know, sometimes... Yeah. That's one thing about this game. They've got a really... The death animations are weird because you're not sure if they're dead yet. And if you make the mistake, then it's... You know, it costs you a lot. Yeah, that's of course why I try to tune in whenever I can too, because it's like... You know, one thing is one thing is that you're consistent. And I think that... And that's, of course, always good. I actually had somebody, another person that I found was playing Animal Crossing on stream, and me and this other person talked a lot. Also, you know, which is, of course, that's also why I try to look for smaller streams. Because, you know, first off, you know how Twitch is. Twitch will recommend you. They're like, oh, hey, you want to watch this woman painting her body while she sits in a kiddie pool full of KY jelly? No, I don't. Because if I needed to see that, I could find it. It's not that difficult.
Die, Vincent!
It's like, Google exists, guys. I have no interest in seeing that. Thank you. It's like, why would I, too? Why, so I can... Also, then you have the chat that's scrolling by, right? You've got 10,000 people in chat. And, of course, they're like, oh, my God, you're so sexy. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is an engaging chat. Oh, that's good. Because again, it's something good, especially, you know, if I'm working, I can still have it set to the, you know, have it set to the side, and then, you know, I get a few minutes or something in particular. Don't get me started on all that. Now again, I don't have a problem now look, I tell a woman, hey, you know, make your money, honey, you know, do what you got to do. I mean. And if a guy is willing to give you money because he wants to, you know, watch you dance around in a bikini in a bathtub, in a kiddie pool, whatever. That's his money, that's his business, and hey, look, there's worse ways to get money. You could have a gun in your hand and say, give me the money or I'll shoot you. You've chosen a different method, right? But also at the same time, please, Twitch, don't recommend me that crap. I don't want to see that. I was like, and look, I have nothing wrong with seeing the female form, and because, you know, women are beautiful, and all that kind of stuff, because, like, especially, speaking of cross-stitching and all that, I actually really want to do, like, an artistic nude cross-stitch, but I've actually seen a really good one on Etsy. Like, I think that'd be super awesome. It would take a long time, the ones I've seen, but I think it'd be so awesome. That's true. We'd, like, do a co-ed stream. I don't think co-ed is the right word. Co-ed stream. Hi, we're Phi Beta Kappa, you know. Wrong co-eds. Co-op stream. Anyway, see, what am I thinking of, right? I'm talking about girls streaming in bikinis, and then I say co-ed. Maybe I think about it more than I thought. And I don't have a problem with the big guys, you know, what is it? Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, etc., etc. I don't have a problem with them either. And I might every once in a while watch their videos, if there's something particular I want to see that they've made. But I'm also not sitting here popping in their streams with 1,200 people all talking at the same time, you know. I sometimes will watch their streams, but I typically try to watch smaller streamers, you know. You know, because even if the production quality isn't as high and things like that, but typically big streamers anyway, they make post VODs anyway. So if I really want to watch their content, I can watch the VOD. And it'll have about the same level of interactivity too, versus a stream with 100 million people. Like... Plus, sometimes they'll post edited versions, which sometimes is better than, depending on what the game is, right? Again, that's part of the reason why I deal with Conversations with Curtis, because it's really cool. First off, it's a cool concept. It's the guy who starred in the, it's the guy that starred in Phantasmagoria 2, and he's playing adventure games. Of course, I think he plays other stuff in general, but he generally plays adventure games. And of course, you have the one, he starts it by playing his own game. It's cool. Of course, we laugh because he's like an older gentleman. Oh, yeah. Tries to pop onto that. Amaranth. That whole thing. Apparently, I saw one clip of something. Apparently, she claims that she gets more viewers. Like, 'cause she'll do, like, streams where she's just straight up sleeping. She said apparently she gets a lot more viewers than you would think while she's sleeping. Which is, like, a little weird to me. Me, like, for example, actually one time had one of my, exes take a picture of me while I was asleep. And I was like, for the love of God, don't do that. That creeps me out like you wouldn't believe. And it takes a lot to creep me out, and that creeps me out. I guess they're expecting that something to happen, or that they'll see something. Or maybe they're just creepy. I don't know. But, yeah. I told her, I said, please, for the love of God, don't ever do that. Don't take a picture of me while I'm sleeping. Or if you do, don't ever show it to me. Don't ever tell me you did it. Because that's just weird to me. My, what is it? Amaranth.
Hello? Can you hear me? Who are you? What are you doing? Answer me!
I like the giant key card in the corner of the room. Wait, that's not in the corner of the room. My perspective is bad. And I haven't. I've heard of it, but I have not played it. Yeah, I was actually thinking about starting a cross-stitch stream, because I know not a lot of people do it. And I'm like, cross-stitch stream wouldn't be bad at all. Because now I have a webcam. And then, just face it down at my hands. Or I guess basically at my crotch. At my lap while I'm cross-stitching. But actually, I'd probably have to have my face in, because I do try to look close at it. Like, I don't really have horrible eyesight. I do wear glasses, but they're not super thick. But I do kind of tend to look really close at it when I do it, because I like to see things up close. That's why I've got a huge monitor. And I'm the kind of person that likes to sit close to the TV. I just like to be able to see the details. And I was like, I really should do that. I mean, since I do cross-stitching, I probably should do a cross-stitch stream. I'm sure a lot of people would enjoy it. I need to find a project to start with that. I lost my phone. This is another reason why I hate phones. You would not believe how often I lose my damn phone. I've had times where I lost it for days. I just couldn't find the damn thing. So that's another thing I hate about it. Like with for example, my keys. I use a carabiner because anytime I need my keys with me, I have them clipped to my belt, because if I don't, I will lose my keys. Before I started doing that, I locked my keys in my car so freaking often. Let me see. Phasmophobia. Oh yeah, two cameras actually would be a good idea too, because then you could do like face and yeah, Phasmophobia. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it. I think this might be one of those cases where I get some games where I'm like, ooh, I want to play that game. And now I'm not one of those people that freaks out about spoilers. It's like, you spoiled the game for me. Now my life is forever ruined. I don't mind because I like to read. So when you like to read and you have a lot of different interests, you'll often, like what I do is, I'll give you a perfect example. See, I'm usually more concise if I take a minute and think about what I'm about to say. I did not know I could shoot those glass. Oh, yeah. Alright, my brain. Alright. The Saw series. I like horror stuff. Horror video games, horror movies. I love it. If it's horror, I love it. I'm a huge fan of Alfred Hitchcock. I love Twin Peaks, even though Twin Peaks isn't not necessarily horror, still. Neat. I did not know you could do this. Now I do. Very fun. Anyway, huge fan of horror, right? I have watched and read so much about the Saw series. I have never even watched a single solitary minute of those movies. I want to. One thing that does make it difficult is that Rose, she's not a fan of horror. Jump scares really get her, so she doesn't like that. But the other part about it is that she definitely can't handle gore. As in, we watched through all the episodes of House because I'd never really went through the whole series, and one of the episodes was bad enough to have her have one of those phasophagal reactions, like she straight up started season. It freaked me the hell out. So yeah, she can't handle blood and gore. So a movie like Saw, she could never ever watch it in a billion years. But I do want to watch the franchise, but I have read and watched so much stuff about it. I pretty much know the series end to end with never actually having seen it. Because I just like to read. Yeah, I have heard of it. And I think I've only seen little bits of it, but I don't know much more other than the vagueness of it. I need to put that on my list of horror things to experience. Oh yeah, I heard about it as well. The only problem I'll say is I do get backlogged for a lot of media. I've got so many things that I, quote, need to watch or experience or whatever word you want to use. Hell, it was only recently I actually watched the Godfather movies.
It's me, your mother.
My mother?
Vincent, please, listen to your mother. I want you to leave Umbrella. I want you to stop performing those terrible crimes and just come back home.
This game's got amazingly bad voice acting. It's beautiful. I have seen this cutscene though, so I'm going to go ahead and skip it too. Because I mostly want to see what the alternate paths have. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting... Oh, speaking of video games, horror, and all that kind of stuff. Somebody on the Twin Peaks subreddit, which I use Reddit. I probably, to be honest, a lot of times I feel dissatisfied with using it. I wish it was I need to go more on forums, because forums were where it was at, man. But so they posted about how they're making a Twin Peaks video game. Like a retro PlayStation 1 style Twin Peaks game. And I was like, oh yeah, exactly. Like, Reddit is great in the fact that there's some people that have compiled great amounts of information. But the downside is mods and other people who have these weird power fantasies, I think you can call it. People who act hateful and disgusting for various reasons, particularly involves of like political beliefs. And I'm like, guys, you don't have to agree with or accept people's, or not accept, but you don't have to agree with someone by any means, but give them the same respect you want for your beliefs. I mean, that's the thing I tell people is that, look, I live in the deep south, and so you do have to deal with some people that are like, because when I tell people that I'm not a Christian, some people get uppity about that and get angry. But I will say most people are pretty fair about it. In fact, most of the time they really want to ask questions more than anything else. But there are some people that act like assholes about it. And I'm like, God, and then you get folks that are on the other side of the political spectrum that will act the same as that, but think that they're better just because they're not, Christian. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if you're Christian or not. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole, okay? I'm like, you got to be fair to people, you got to respect people. Come on. And you get a lot of that on Twitter. Like, it's typically very left leaning, which is fine. That's fine, But there's a lot of people who are extremely hateful on that website, and it's like, really? People will actually seek out subreddits of opposing political ideas so they can argue with people. And it's like, I don't want to say get a life, because being a nerd, that's kind of like the biggest thing. I'm a nerd, I don't have a life, etc., etc. But there are some people who need to get a freaking life. Oh yeah, Twin Peaks is amazing. Especially now that they've come up with what, season 3, I think it's called. You can call it season 3, you can call it The Return. Because that's kind of what they call it. See, the fun thing is they ended the first run of Twin Peaks, where Cheryl Lee playing Laura Palmer, she says, "See you in 25 years." They made season 3 or The Return 25 years later. It's like, yes. And of course, it's David Lynch, so it's out of its fucking mind, but that's what makes it great. I love Twin Peaks. It's such a great thing. One of my friends finally turned me on to it because they were a huge fan, and they're like, it's amazing. You have to watch it. And I'm like, okay. I watched it. Both me and Rose watched it, and then we just lost our fucking minds. We were like, this is amazing. And then, like a year or so after we watched it, boom, that's when they talked about making the season 3 or whatever. And then we were like, we were so freaking excited. It's the best. Rose's friend actually lives in Washington, nearby to where Kyle MacLachlan lives. And her friends interacted with him a few times. And we're just like, we're jelly. We might have to go there and wear your skin so that we can have that opportunity. Eureka. No, I will say no, I have not. But it sounds familiar. Yeah, I've become a big David Lynch fan in the past handful of years. Eureka. Oh wow, there's a bunch of... Is it like a newer TV show? Oh no, that's definitely not it. Wait, here we go. 2006 sci-fi TV series, Eureka. Oh, I have heard of this. 2006? Yeah, it says on Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah. I have heard of it. I know I haven't seen it. That's one thing. If it was on Sci-Fi, I haven't, to be honest, I'll say this, as I haven't had cable since I was a very small child, and my access to most things involves me having to me obtaining it through certain means. Let's see, I have heard of it though. I'm gonna read this Spectrum. Sounds interesting. I'm gonna have to add that to my list of stuff. The downside is, I will say this: if I get to it, it might be quite a bit late, and that's just because I call it a backlog, and that's because I really do have a big backlog of stuff I have to watch. I've been wanting to watch Ford v Ferrari because, again, I'm a car guy. I got to watch the movie about cars. And we only just started watching. We only watched it the other day, and we didn't even finish it because the movie's like very long, and it was getting too tiring. And Rose has still never seen Full Metal Alchemist. I got to show her Full Metal Alchemist, which is like my favorite thing ever. Not ever, but I don't like to say I don't like anime, but there's a lot of shonen anime stuff that I don't really care for. Like, you know, I don't mind, like, for example, I don't mind fan service, right? But there's some fan service that is poorly written and just terribly just shoved in there, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I haven't had cable in years. I don't have any interest in it. I don't have Netflix or anything either. In fact, the only time we've had these streaming services is when they came free with, like, our phones or internet or whatever. Because I'll save the $11. I'd rather put that small amount of money towards a small-time streamer, or, you know, someone that would appreciate the content, not executives in a multi-billion-dollar corporation. No, thank you. Plus, now, I'm not an anti-capitalist by any means, but I will say this. In terms of media, there are very few forms. There are very few forms of... Ooh, 100 messages. Nice. There are very few forms of ethical consumption in terms of media. I like to use the example, and this is an extreme example, I know, so it's a little bit dramatic. What's it called? Oh, yep. I think Rose has Spotify, so that she can, you know, add free music and all that kind of stuff. I don't, because I just have an MP3 player, and I've got 2,000 songs on it, and more I need to add. But, what was I saying? The example I like to use for media is Harvey Weinstein. He was able to get away with what he did for 30 years. So, every single bit of money that went to Miramax over that 30-year period helped fund that behavior. So think about what we don't know about that's going on in Hollywood right now. So, yeah, they can kiss my ass. They want my money. You need to prove to me that you deserve it. And that's part of why I do small streamers. Not just small streamers, but small content creators. Because it's like... Now, granted, everyone's human. Everyone has faults. Everyone has done bad things. 100%, right? But there's a difference between someone who's a multimillionaire or billionaire doing horrible things to lots of people and being allowed to get away with it because they have so much power. And, you know, one of you... Oh, heck yeah. Orville? Oh, we love Orville. Awesome. That is awesome that you mentioned it. Because we love Orville. In fact... Oh... For quite a while, I actually had, like, yeah, I'm sure, like, if we dug through your closet, we'd find every human being, I like to say this, every human being on the planet has things that they are things that they are ashamed of, and things that other people would be, or that things that they are ashamed of, and things that they feel guilty for. Both, because they're two slightly different things, you know. 100%. That doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. That means you're a person. Now, there are certain things that people have done. I say fuck them. I'll call them bad people. But, again, huge difference between a small-time streamer and then someone like what's his face did. So, yeah, why should he get my $35 for a Blu-ray disc? You know, yeah, the act. You know, sure. There's lots of other small people. We see this writing thing that's going on right now. There's a lot of small people that are involved with the whole thing, but typically they're not getting residuals, so they get paid for the work they do at that time. So it's not like if I don't buy the Blu-ray that Jimmy, the boom mic operator, is not getting paid. You know. Plus, I also have this problem where I feel like I'm almost obligated to buy from like small vendors and stuff like that. You know, because I actually do get to feeling bad when I'm like walking by at any like convention or something or whatever in the small time vendors. Especially, I wish they wouldn't talk to me, because when they start talking to me, I feel bad about not buying something from them. Because I start to feel empathetic. Like, what if I was sitting there in their shoes and I would feel disappointed every time somebody walks by and doesn't buy something? I have to like fight that urge to like spend all my money, because it's like I have to think about it like this. I can't save them. I'm not fucking Superman. Like, I can't look at it and be like, no, I have to save these vendors. No, you know, I can't save them by myself, at least, right? I also have to be mindful that paying only for what you want and getting the value for what you pay for is what's best for that vendor, you know, because, you know, you don't want to produce a bad product and get validated for it, because then you'll just continue making a bad product. I guess if that makes sense. Her shadow makes it look like she pissed herself.
Don't be afraid.
The only reason I
won't
say
hurt
that
you.
is because of Metal Gear
Where's
Solid.
your brother Lot?
And again, this cutscene's the same too. That vendor thing really messes with me sometimes. I gotta get that out of my head. You know, I think some people also get the same way with animals, where they're like, I have to save this animal, but buying from places like PetSmart and all that are not best, because they often use mills. And like, you know, buying from those mills is just not good at all. I don't know. There's like a whole like moral thing and like how you like spend your money and all that, you know. It's very complicated. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that you appreciate it. I will say this. I typically try to tip off line because I wouldn't say I feel embarrassed, but I don't want to seem like I'm doing it for attention, you know? Like, now, when I'm on the streams of Conversation with Curtis and I donate to them, I often try to have a pun attached to it. Yeah, I try to balance it. Now, admittedly, I love attention. I love having fun and all that good stuff. But I also try to fight that, where, you know, it goes back to the thing what I was talking about with people. You want them to know that you have good intentions, but you also don't want to say that you have good intentions, because it sounds like you don't. It sounds like I'm trying to convince, you know, like you're trying to convince them. But, you know, I have to be mindful that insecurity is all within my head, right? I have to relax a little bit. Yeah, same thing, yeah. It's like, yeah. It's that balance, you know. Like, there's actually a Russian streamer I watch sometimes. Now, because she's Russian, she typically streams like before I even get to work. But I often catch the end of her streams, and she streams a couple of games I'm interested in, like Payday 2 and stuff like that. And, you know, I'll give her a tip every once in a while. But I don't think she speaks any English, so... I mean, maybe some basic stuff, I think. One time she said thanks and all that, so I'll tip her a little bit. Oh, that was a good stun lock. You know. Like I said, I'm really glad that it helps, and that the puns also are funny. Fucking crap. That scared me again. I knew it was gonna happen because it happened last time, and I still got scared. What the hell, game? Yeah, my that's one thing I like. I also try a lot to try to help this like those conversation with Curtis guys, but I've had to dial it. I've had to dial it back a little bit because I was like I had them on like I was on their Patreon and stuff like that, and I realized I'm like I'm spending too much money on Patreon. I need to dial that back. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I tried to like like that's one thing I'm actually doing. Like I have the. Do I have oh no, we're leaving this room. I have actually because I did the little hashtag donate thing or whatever. I modified that command because I'm still want to like, especially if there's other folks I want to like do the offer thing to where if they're interested in donating to you, I'll give them that option. But I also set up a Ko-Fi account because I have another friend who a friend who I met through Facebook who's like super awesome, and she's in like some rough times. And so, you know, I'm trying to let people know that, you know, when I spam that randomly, it gets if people are watching. I actually should slap those out, but she's like in a rough case, and I try to help her whenever I can. Because it's like I was talking to my coworker who actually he streams on Twitch, and he's actually got a decent sized fan base, you know. He's actually making decent money with it, which is super awesome, right? You know, and he was asking me about this, like, well, if you know, with you streaming stuff, you don't want to. It's like you ever gonna like monetize or anything? I was like, no, because I don't want to monetize. First off, I'm the kind of person that's like, I want to decide what content I make. I don't want YouTube or what's it called? YouTube or Twitch or anybody saying, hey, this is the content we want you to make. This is content you're not allowed to make. No, I want to make that content. You know, and it's not like I'm going to come up here and then, you know, make content where I dress up like Hitler and I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to sing a song about miscegenation. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if I want to say fuck, I want to be able to say fuck without them saying, sorry guy, but you said the F word. We're not going to let you get ad revenue. And I'm like, I don't want to be held to that standard. Like I make because again on YouTube I make a lot of edits, memes and stuff like that. Like I have one meme that is an insensitive as hell 9/11 meme. Now something like that is not going to get monetized very well because it's a meme about a horrible tragedy. But I thought it was very funny. You know, because it just came out. Yep, I agree with that. Because for me, it's a passion project. Like, if I'm not interested in it, I don't want to do it. But luckily, I do have a decent enough job that I don't need to rely on it. You know, and hey, look, everybody who plays video games would love to get paid to play video games, but it's also one of those double-edged swords, right? Where it's like, hell, actually, a great thing is, oh yeah, see, exactly. For some people, they might say, well, that's insensitive, that's horrible. It's like, it is. It is a massively insane tragedy. It fucking changed a lot of stuff about America. I mean, just, and the world in general, too. And it is at all. Now, I would say it's nothing to make fun of, but it's not about making fun of the tragedy. It's about, because for me, jokes that are typically, that might be considered insensitive or edgy or whatever you want to call it, right? You know, one, your stuff needs to cater, you do have to cater to your audience a little bit, right? You know, which is 100% true, right? But also at the same time, right? What is it? What was I trying to say? I like jokes. I like to say, because for one, how am I going to put it? Because there's a lot of jokes that some people say, well, those types of joke aren't funny. It's like, and I don't want to be like, and I try to be fair about it. I'm like, well, they're not funny to you. Some people, they might be funny, because sometimes it's a case of bringing light to a dark world, right? Because what is it? How did I use this? I had a great way of. Sometimes I say stuff that's good enough to be a tweet. No, say I have oh yeah, and see it's absolutely terrible. I mean, it's horrific, and so, no one wants to feel like you're making fun of them. But the reason why I personally feel okay with making jokes like that when it's appropriate. Now, I'm not going to shove it in somebody's face or try to be insensitive about it, right? Where I'm like, oh, hey, you need to lighten up. I'd never say that. I'll say, if it offends you, then I will not say it, not show it to you, not whatever, right? But for people like me, I'm the kind of person, I like to have the light in the darkness, right? Like, I don't like how a lot of movies and TV shows now, maybe not a lot, but a decent number of them, are very nihilistic, right? And I don't really like that, because I personally am a nihilist, right? And so, yeah, if you want me to rant for hours about how the world is dark and meaningless and blah, 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 I could sit here and be the Linkin Parkist guy in the world. I could be the Crow, right? Crawling in my skin. But I like that. I like stuff that's happy and entertaining and fun. Because I don't need someone to remind me that the world sucks, because I know. That's how I put it. It's like, I know the world sucks. I don't need to be reminded of that every day. If I want to watch something that tells me that the world sucks, you know what I'll do? I'll watch Schindler's List. Stuff like that. Movies that remind you the world sucks. The Accused. Things like that. Movies that make you realize the world is full of assholes. Which to say, there's nothing wrong with movies that make you sad, that make you see the horrors of the world and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the time, I just want to have a good time, Hell, the darkness of the world is part of why even, like, rich people, as much as being wealthy would solve a lot of our problems that do make us upset, all of us do understand that being rich doesn't necessarily mean you're happy. Seeing stuff like with Robin Williams and all that. Such a bright guy that brought happiness to so many people, and he's so entertaining and fun, right? And to see that for even someone like him, the world hit so hard that he couldn't take it ultimately. And that's something that we all can sympathize with. Hell, like, even as much as I'll rail, look, I tell people, someone like Elon Musk, right? Because he's always in the news now, right? I wrote a 1,500-word document about how much I can't stand Elon Musk and his product, with quotation marks. I don't like Elon Musk. I worked for Tesla for like 6 months. It was terrible, right? However, as much as I don't like Elon Musk, I admit that I just have him be rent-free because it's funny. And plus I now get to say that I hated Elon Musk first. I get to be a hipster on hate. A hipster hater. Because since like all the stuff with Twitter and all that kind of stuff, it's now like a big deal to hate him. And again, he's a rich asshole. He came from a rich family and had way too much money and was able to, use that money to get himself into the right situations to be insanely rich. Like, however, he is still a human and he still has to deal with things. Like, I saw that, what was it there's a video of one of the, this is before he bought Twitter, and one of the Twitter, not executives, but like one of the higher up people in Twitter, maybe not business people, but website people, mocked him for having, for being, you know, because he says he's got Asperger's, right? I have no reason to doubt him because I'm not his doctor. He says it. I have no reason to doubt it one way or the other. Plus, he's a little weird, so maybe he is. And I'm on the autism spectrum, so I get the privilege to say he's weird, right? No, so, you know, but yeah, someone in a decently high position on Twitter, and they, you know, mocked him for that, and I'm like, you're an asshole. Like, look, you can disagree with his beliefs all day long. You can say that he's a rich asshole, like I've said. But to mock him for being neurodivergent for something he can't control, what a jerk. You know? Like, I don't like it when people use mental illness as a way to insult people. Like, look, and you know, people talk about politics all the time, and this is something that'll irk me, is when they call someone a sociopath or a narcissist. I'm like, no, that's their public persona. They might actually be mentally ill. You don't know that. But let's not use it as an insult, because mental illness is a real disability. And all you're doing is spreading a culture of ableism, of telling people that, oh, you're mentally ill, well, there's something wrong with you. Wrong. Just because someone is psychopathic doesn't mean they're violent. Just because someone's sociopathic doesn't mean that they want to kick puppies. These are real conditions that real humans have to deal with. And I can't stand any kind of ableism at all. Now, that's not to say that people who are what do you call it? It's not to say that people are to just like close your eyes and just blanketly trust someone, right? But at the same time, let's not hate on them, because you don't know who they are as a person. You have to actually meet them and talk to them and all that kind of stuff. And again, some of these people are told. Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to say that they have, I think, was it somebody had said this in response to my things, that you can say that they have things that are consistent with, you know, and if you're being like fair about it, you say, I think you should get tested, like if it's in a way of legitimate concern about helping them be more effective, and to not just themselves but to others, you know, that's perfectly fine and fair. I think a lot of people use stuff like that as an insult, and I can't stand it when they do that, because I've met people, and I'm like, I think, and I've actually said somewhat similar, but
What?
you have to approach it carefully. Like, actually recently when I was rewatching some episodes of House, or parts of episodes I should say, I saw one where the lady was hiding that she had schizophrenia. So she was taking medicine for it, and it was like messing with her or whatever. And then, you know, at the end of the episode, she reveals to her husband that she has schizophrenia, and she's like crying as she's saying it. And that shit really hits me, man. Because it's like, even with something like, you know, because again, we watch all these movies and TV shows, and it's like, oh, schizo? Oh, you mean someone, oh, they talk to themselves, LOL, ha, you know, all this movie crap. But to see like something that's maybe more realistic, and how it is hard to admit to people that, because of the perception of it, that there's something wrong with you, that you're going to be some sort of danger to people or whatever, you know, it's that actually hit me really hard to see that, because it's like, yeah, it can be like that, you know, because it doesn't just have to do with like a medical condition, like, you know, be like saying to someone that you have cancer. It's like, you know, saying to someone like, hey, I have this condition, you know, that affects the way I behave, that, you know, will likely require medication and patience more so than anything else, right? Just thinking about it is making tears well up. I need to not think about it. But it really is. It's hard to even think about. I had to go through like a lot when I because it was a handful of years ago. I had a massive breakdown. Problems in my relationship and stuff like that. And so I went through like a lot of process to try to, go through, get diagnostics, and come up with a treatment plan and things like that. It's made a huge difference too. Like, I talk about DBT all the time as a result, because I'm like, ooh, DBT. Gotta tell people about that. Because it really has made a big difference. Learning about mindfulness and everything. It's a lot. And it can be a lot to deal with, when they say, hey, you have, we think, oh, DBT is dialectic behavioral therapy. I think there's a similar one called CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, but that's more about like changing how you think about stuff. Whereas DBT is about, well, I think, it's okay. I think CBT, I don't know CBT specifically, but I think CBT is more about mindset, whereas DBT is about learning skills, particularly related to like mindfulness and things like that. Because like it's particularly helpful for borderline personality disorder, which has a tendency to do black and white thinking. And it actually is like a massive help. Because we learn mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness. There's four sections to it: mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, distress tolerance, and emotional regulation. And it's a lot of work. Like it really is, because you learn these skills, you have to practice them, you have to memorize them, and so. But it is so helpful, because of course one of the biggest things is mindfulness, right? It just helps, and of course the biggest thing is finding out about yourself. Hell, it actually helps a lot with the stuff with being on the spectrum, because now instead of like, so now if I get like hyper focused on something, or I get really mad if I want to accomplish something and something gets in my way. Like literally, like if I'm like, I'm gonna go put this over here, and then there's someone standing in my way because they're doing something, I get super mad about that. But see, now that I know that I'm on the spectrum, I can be mindful about that and say, this is why that happens. Now I can, so instead of just being too in my feelings, I guess you could say, I can just look at it and say, hey, this is why that is. So let me be more effective about it. So I could say, I'm actually just mad because of blank. How about I just, do something else? How about I do some distress tolerance, or, a million different things I could possibly do to not have a problem with it, or possibly even just look at it differently. Because when you break it down, you see the reason why I feel that way is because I'm making a judgment. I'm saying what I want to do is more important than whatever this person is doing. And so you break that judgment down and you say, well, that's just me judging that. In actuality, they have something they need to do, I have something I need to do, but they're there first. They're doing what they gotta do, and I'm not gonna die if I don't do it right now. I'm judging it to already have etc., etc. It's kind of like that, And it actually has really helped. Again, it's a freaking struggle. I'm not gonna lie about that. But just because it's a struggle doesn't mean it hasn't helped. Like the difference between like the way I am. The difference between the way I am now and the way I was back then is massive. Oh, the stories I could tell about that. And of course, it's also helped make my relationship a lot better. Because now I can be more effective in it. And even though she, like Rose is a little bit, I wouldn't say hesitant, but she's kind of like me in terms of a little bit nihilistic, although she's more apathetic, right? So her, you know, stuff just kind of is, basically. And, so she thinks it's, I wouldn't say she thinks it's goofy, but she doesn't take it as seriously as I do. You know. And again, she doesn't minimize it at all, but it's the kind of thing that she would be hard to do it herself, because I don't know. No, it's kind of like how if you have a, you're kind of like, you know, like if you have, like if you really like a band, right? And you try to show it to your friend, and they're like, it's okay. And then you're like, you got that little thing in your head where you want to be like, I hate you. It's kind of like that. It's like, no, DBT is amazing, and she's like, yeah. So, you know, of course I have to be fair. You know, it's like that. I think some people have said everybody has their journey. I think that's the way it goes. It's kind of like that, you know. Her journey just doesn't include that. But, like I tell you, part of like how it's been helpful. Yep, exactly. You get some people that are like, so you just play games and talk to people? Or sometimes people say that about watching streamers. They're like, you just watch people play video games? It's like, yeah, it's entertaining. I like to make it akin to sports, right? It's like, well, you like to watch football, so you watch people play catch? You know, if they are that type of person, that is. You know. But, like, I did have one friend, and he started to go through some relationship issues, right? Like, really bad with his wife. Now, hopefully soon to be ex-wife. He's trying to work on all that. He's trying to fix that. So, you know, I talk to him a lot, and I don't try to give advice as much as I try to, I guess it is giving advice, but I don't try to tell people what to do. I try to say, here's some techniques to be effective, and, you know, I try to be reasonable about it, because I don't like to tell people what to do. Because telling someone what to do I don't think is an effective way to give advice. I tell people, I like to explicitly say that they need to find the answer for themselves. I can give advice and give examples of what I've done or what other people have done, etc. But I can say the true way to find the answer is for yourself. Because what works for one person does not necessarily work for the other. And, yeah, so my friend, you know, I talked to him about a lot of stuff I dealt with. I said, you know, this is stuff that's really helped me when I've been in a similar situation. I said, it may be a good idea for you to come to the doctor's office and, you know, talk to them and see what they might recommend, creating a treatment plan and things like that. And ultimately he did that. Yep. Because that's one of the things we learn at DBT is that there's so many techniques, and just because one technique works for one person doesn't mean it will work for another. That's why, first off, we have a billion techniques. But yeah, because that's part of what they do in psychiatry and psychology is it's about finding, well, particularly psychology, is it's about finding the answer for yourself. You know, not just telling you what to do. Because someone telling you what to do, no, that's not what you need. You need someone that will help you find the answer. Yep. Oh, awesome. We're twinsies. We're on the same wavelength. Yeah. Plus, I always try to be mindful, because again, now, I'm going to talk some about, like, in general genders. The general culture, at least in America, of genders is that men typically want to fix, and women in general like to, let's say, listen or express, maybe I should say. So you do get this dynamic a lot. There's actually a fun video that is the perfect characterization of it. It's called "For Want of a Nail." Sometimes a woman might just need to have someone listen about the problem, and might have a male who wants to fix the problem instead of just listening, and vice versa. You might have a woman that might just think he needs someone to listen when he needs someone to help fix it, right? And it's just a cultural thing, particularly in America, between men and women. I forget what I gotta do here. But this video is pretty funny. It's a funny video, but it actually works really well about being mindful about what your partner or other people in interpersonal relationships need. It's called "For Want of a Nail," and it starts out with a woman talking. She's like, "That's a lot of pressure," and etc., etc. And then the guy's like, "Well, you have a nail in your forehead," and it, cuts the wide shot of her, and she's got a freaking nail in her head. And of course he's like, "Take the nail out," and she's like, "Look, I just need someone to talk to. I just need to talk about it." And even though it's a goofy, silly way to present it, it's actually a perfect metaphor. Sometimes some people just need to just need to express it, and you have to be mindful that not everyone necessarily needs the problem fixed. I forgot why I went off on that tangent, but I was talking about before I did it. Yep. It's a funny video, but it's like a perfect metaphor for that sort of thing. I'm getting all introspective. Oh yeah, I'm almost done with this game too. Anyway, yeah, and you definitely you definitely shouldn't stay up longer than you would feel. Because I appreciate you coming by. Plus, it gives me something to talk about. Because since I've already played this game, a lot of it's the same at this point. I thought it might be a lot different, but it really isn't. So I'm pretty much just playing the same thing. Oh yeah, it was really fun talking to you. Plus, it gives me good things. It gives me good things to talk about in different topics. Because otherwise I would just talk about probably what I've already talked about in this game. But yeah, if you think you're gonna stream tomorrow? Okay, awesome. It's been it was slow today, so it might be slow tomorrow. Again, I'll try to talk as much as I try to talk as much as I can. Then again, it could speed up, but probably not. But luckily, like I said, I get to work around 8, and I usually pop up Twitch around then. Because 10, 11 is usually when that Russian streamer is talking about stops. And so, that's typically when I would switch over to yours. Oh yeah, I understand that. Because I'm not a morning person, so I'm like super groggy. That's why I couldn't do morning streams at all. Because like, I'm not alive until 12, even if I got up at 8 o'clock. But yeah, definitely, I'll be watching for you.
These monsters on this island.
And like I said, I'm really glad that you came by, because it's definitely a lot better. So like every once in a while I do get somebody that talks, but I get a lot of lurkers instead. Which is nothing wrong with lurking. If you guys are lurking, I don't hate you for it. But I would at least like if you told me if you liked cake or not. Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me started on daylight savings time. I hate daylight savings time. The concept of it, of changing the schedule and then having where it gets to the summer solstice and then it becomes night at 8:59 or something. God. Especially because, like you said, you're in Florida and it's been storming a lot. Like here, it rained. It's starting to rain again, and it's insanely hot. So So I completely understand that, trust me. I imagine trying to keep... Yeah, seriously, guys. Tell me if you like cake.
Lot!
But yeah, that's the good... I'll tell you that, is that the guy I had the other day, he was great because he talked about a bunch of different stuff, so that gave me a lot of different topics to bring up. But yeah, so definitely, I'll be going to sleep soon, so definitely don't worry too much about me, because this is almost over. Unless it takes me forever to beat the boss again. That probably won't happen. Oh, I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad that you came by, because now I'm glad that I streamed today. Because I was like, you know what, it's probably a good idea. Alright, see you tomorrow. Crap, what am I gonna do? I don't have any healing, do I? No. Crap. See, now I'm trying to focus on not dying here. Whew. Won't be too much longer.
Lot!
And so,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna see whoever's lurking now.
Please forgive me.
Oh, cool. I've got 3 people
What are
watching.
you
Awesome.
talking about? It's not your fault. Vincent is the one who caused everything. Well,
I'm picking his nose, guys.
You? What do you mean?
Picking his nose now.
You're the detective. Your name is Ark Thompson.
What? Really? I'm not Vincent? Then why did you run away from me?
Because I'm the one that told Vincent about you.
Hello, I'm Vincent. I've been transferred to this facility to
I
inspect...
still find it weird.
Nice to meet you, sir.
I know Commander
That-
Vincent. So I knew that you weren't him when I saw you.
What? A spy?
Yeah, see, that's one thing, guys, that the
Thank
story of
you.
this game is really wonky.
You are a good boy, Lot.
So then I'm Ark and not Vincent.
I mean, I made this point when I last played it. So he's...
Do you know of any way to get off this island?
So he
My
freaking
dad told me
sees...
that there's a railway station up ahead from here.
A railway station?
I heard that it runs underground.
Okay, we'll use that. Let's go get Lily. Go ahead! Hurry! We'll meet at the station!
So it's what get me.
The self-destruction system has been activated. This island will self-destruct in 10
So this
minutes.
guy...
All the
I didn't need my mic to go red, I'm sorry.
evacuate
This guy
immediately.
is unbelievable. Anyway,
All the personnel evacuate
so he finds...
immediately.
He sees Vincent's... Or he sees... I think it was Vincent's body at the beginning. And his first thought is that... And he sees the Ark Thompson thing, and he's like, this isn't me. But then this kid says, you're Ark Thompson. And he's like, oh yeah, that is me. What? That makes no fucking sense. The story of this game is very bad.
That's right. At the request of my friend, Leon S. Kennedy, I came here to investigate. Oh, yes. I remember everything.
So all it took was this kid telling him.
Tell me the truth. You are a spy, aren't you?
I guess he is a spy. He just punched him for no reason. Look at him go. See, it's like, okay, he's running in a helicopter. You have a gun. You know you can shoot. Yeah, now you shoot him once he's in the helicopter. Good job, buddy. And he thinks he's Arnold Schwarzenegger, thinks he's Captain America. He's going to jump on the rungs of the helicopter.
Yes.
Did they ever do a Mythbusters
I'm
on
not
that?
Vincent.
Is it possible to climb
I'm
up into a
Ark.
helicopter from the rungs? Is it? It might be. I have no health at all. That's one thing I will say is that this game does not give you enough health. Should freaking heal. Just use it. And so that's one thing that this game could probably do better with. Come on. Would be to give you more healing. The good thing is I have lots of Magnum rounds, so unlike yesterday, the final boss should go well. Now that I know the pitfalls of how to fight them, and I have a lot more Magnum ammo and stuff, this should be easier. Part of my problem is I use my Magnum ammo on the Tyrant first form, which now I realize I shouldn't have done. He was dancing. I know you could make him dance. Can't break it? Okay. Let's see if I can make him dance too. Come on. It's a little sensitive. Yeah, I prefer this pistol over the standard one and the Cougar. Because even though the Cougar does more damage, this one shoots a lot faster. So it does the same damage as the standard handgun. So it does the same damage as the standard handgun, but it shoots way faster. Of course, what I should be doing is stopping at one shot and reloading in the menu. That's one of the things I'm not doing right. So yeah, one of the different things is there's a few different paths that you can take. The first one is just kind of like a beginner different path. I don't think it really affects much. See, this is what I should be doing. But the second path, well, I'm not sure, 100% sure, but the second path affects some parts of the story, or at least what you experience. So if you go to the arcade, you encounter the cleaners, is what they call it. If you go to the hospital like I did, you encounter Vincent. And if you... Okay, what am I doing? I'm trying to get my brains about me. Which is a terrible idea. I've got plenty of grenade rounds and plenty of other stuff, so this should go easier. Well, one good thing is this is also a second playthrough, so I already have these weapons. Anyway, I'm not sure, I can't remember what the third thing is if you go to the library instead, but either way, it changes up the game a little bit, but not by much. I think also if you go a different way in the sewer, you can encounter the sewer guy, but I can't remember. I know that definitely one of the paths affects whether or not you fight the alligators, which is why it's good not to take that freaking path, because those damn alligators, from what I read, everyone hates them, because they do. They take a shit ton of, they have a shit ton of health. You're in a tight room and all that. So now I know that if I do a third playthrough, which there is one more handgun for me to unlock, to definitely don't fight the freaking alligators.
Vincent.
Jesus, Vincent, look
If
at that
it wasn't
forehead.
for you, I could have completed my mission. Umbrella was going to take care of me. But you had to go and screw it all up. Now, you're going to pay.
Stupid idiot.
No.
Don't run at me. Don't run at me, bro. Can I just go through this door? Damn, it won't let me escape this. I think one of the biggest problems with this game is the fact that you fight everybody in a super tight room, which is a problem if it's going to be a first-person thing. Yeah, I'm not going to waste all my handgun ammo on this guy. I mean, not handgun ammo. All my special ammo on this guy. Because the final boss kind of sucks, because you have to fight two of them, two forms, in a row, and they have a lot of health. Eat a dick, tyrant. Right in the butt. Look at that. That's pretty much the strategy for the tyrants. Is, you run away from them, shoot them, run away from them, shoot them. Which I know that's kind of a basic way to describe every fight in Resident Evil ever, but still. Again, this game is not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. It's just there's a lot of ways they could have made it better, and I bet you it's more fun with the gun con or whatever peripheral they said it came with. Time mechanism started. I think people have made mods for this game. Yeah, I'm just running past you, bro. Because I don't think there's anything in any of these rooms. What annoys me is that there's no way to quick turn around. It's like, this is after Resident Evil 3. They should give you the ability to quick turn. The L1 button, the left bumper, does give you the ability to quick aim at stuff, but that does it for anything.
Get on the train! Hurry!
Okay,
Destination. All personnel evacuate.
this is where a checkpoint is created in the game, so if I have to continue, I will continue here. But I'm going to create a save state, because if the only reason I was able to beat the game before was because I used save states, because I kept dying horribly. Which I know save states is a little bit cheating, but also at the same time, no. You can kiss my ass. Because they give you limited continues. The game is kind of short. And I think you get to keep everything. If you get game over, I think. But, I don't know. Whatever. They should have given it save points. Or made it long, you know, given it save points and made it longer. See what I mean? Yeah, see, they do weird stuff like this in this game. I think that's the biggest problem with this game, is not, I'm just gonna load the state. The biggest problem with this game, it's not the majority of the game. The majority of the game's fine. It's these weird little random things that they do like that make this game infuriating. Like, so they decide, so first off, this game, you pretty much walk on a level path constantly. You don't really have to deal with that many enemies up and below you. You sort of do, but not really. Right? So you see, you get crap like this, where you got guys, you don't just have guys in front of you, you have guys in front of you and above you. You know, they're shooting at you. Which if you had like a gun con or some quick way to aim, that'd be fine. You could easily just aim and shoot them, right? But instead it's frustrating, because if you watch the video I was doing yesterday, if you decide to watch that, you'll see that using the L1 button to try to aim at them just doesn't seem to work too well. So rather than waste my life trying to figure out the perfect way to kill them, because again, you die, you have to use continues. You have limited fucking lives. My solution is easy, and it's... I don't have any health. Wait. No, I'm not going to save it because I got damaged from that last battle. So, if I have to do it again, I hopefully don't get damaged. Yeah. And again, they always cramp everything tight together. So you see, like, when I went through the room with the Mr. X's, right? I got punched. Because every room you fight enemies in is almost always cramped. And some enemies can't be easily stun locked. I like how his, like, mouth is agape. It's like he's going, oh!
It's still alive.
It's like that meme about the pictures of the dudes with their mouths wide open. Alright, I need to get my cursor off screen. So again, this is where I found out about the bumper. I had to find out all the way to the end of the game. Because I'm a freaking genius. See, what you do is, when he jumps at you, boom. You look at him, he jumps. You get hit because you're stupid. That's what I did. Wait for him. Jump. Dodge. There we go. It's just about dodging. That's what all this is. You have an unlimited time. Because the bomb's going to go off eventually. So unlike other Resident Evil games, you have 0 time limit. And just use the bumper to aim as needed. And then you do like me and you get constantly hit because you're great at this game. How much ammo do I have with these other guns? I should probably just use it. I don't think I have any shotgun rounds. Acid rounds and flame rounds work best on this guy. I should be using the grenade launcher more often because I didn't realize I had so many grenade rounds. Here's a secret about the grenade launcher in this game. The grenade rounds suck. Because what they do is they basically shoot at the ground. They're really only good for certain things. Yes, walking backwards is your friend in this game, in this battle. Because then he'll jump at you, he'll try to slash, but if you walk backwards, it'll miss. But then you have to move, because if you keep walking backwards, he'll hit you. Most likely. And of course, he has a final form. And of course, you don't get a rocket launcher to blow him up like every other game. To get the rocket launcher, you have to beat the game with the S rank or something. It is infinite ammo, at least. But it's like, if you can beat the game with the S rank without it, you don't really need it, do you? There's another handgun I do have to unlock. So, probably going to do another playthrough. And see, you have to also not be like me and not forget what kind of ammo, how much ammo you have. I'm going to go ahead and use grenade rounds, even though I do have magnum rounds and this is the final fight. Again, grenade rounds suck, because they pretty much shoot at the floor. And an enemy has to pretty much be right on you. You don't want this guy on you because he will grab you. And then you'll do like I did. So that's what that is one thing that the grenade rounds can be good for. Is getting him to let you go. See, I'm out of rounds because I'm a genius. So what I'm gonna do is hope that this does not game me over. Game me over. And then I immediately die. Instant karma, not karma. Whatever. Basically instant karma. I'm gonna use my continue. So. And so you see it starts right here where
Get on the train! Hurry!
where they're like, hey, come on, get on the train.
5 minutes to detonation. All personnel evacuate immediately.
I gotta do better this time though.
All personnel evacuate immediately.
I should just equip my shotgun for this. Actually, you know what? I have the grenade launcher with grenade rounds. I'm gonna keep that actually. Because then I can at least get rid of the guys directly in front of me and just run straight there. This is what I'm gonna try at least. Another thing is that if you're gonna have a game be first person, anyway, so you're gonna have a game be first person, right? For the love of fuck, don't have your character flinch too much. If your character's gonna flinch, that's one thing. Like, okay, we're gonna have some realistic battle damage, whatever you call it. Having a character flinch enough to throw your aim off by an entire screen or so, no, don't do that. If you design games for a living, don't do that. If you don't design games for a living, still don't do it, because I'll hate you. Come on, okay. I'm gonna start with the shotgun on this guy. And now I'm gonna do another save state. Because F you, I'm using save states. They shouldn't have given this game limited continues. So admittedly, yeah, like I said, this is not their finest work. They made 3 amazing games, and then they made this. I definitely wouldn't call it as bad as some people say. It's not horrible. It's just not great.
Get in the helicopter!
I know I've said that like 3 times, but I like to emphasize the fact that it's not bad and it's worth playing.
It's still alive!
It's just a little frustrating. And at least it has some of the fun of a classic RE game. The bad voice acting. It has a very stupid story. And goofy shit like the way the tyrant looks with his mouth agape. Shotgun actually seems to do pretty well. I probably shouldn't be trying to take multiple shots though. That's me just wanting to not lose this time. Yesterday I had to play a whole bunch of times. It took me basically having to do a perfect run in order to I wonder if I can use up my regular grenade rounds on this guy. Yeah. But as you can see, the regular grenade rounds suck because they do an extremely sharp, not extremely sharp, but a very sharp arc towards the ground. So it's easy to miss if they're not at the right distance. They're great for zombies, and they're great for a lot of random enemies. But for enemies like this, I got hit like 1,400 times. That is bad of me. I've been a bad little player. He's stroking out, man. Plus, I think having two forms to this fight, and like no healing or anything like that in between, is kind of stupid. Like, really? Because the boss fights aren't that much different. I definitely don't think the game gives enough heals. Well, where the hell is he? I mean, as you can tell by the fact that I have 0 heals going into this. But that stupid alligator fight really hurt me. Yeah, so if you do play this, don't fight the alligator. It's not worth it. Okay. Combine with the acid rounds. Wait, you know what? Since I'm gonna just do the Magnum first, and then go. Getting a little panicky because he keeps hitting me. Because I'm trying to avoid dying here. Because it's actually worse for me to get hit than it is for me to not hit him. Since every little bit that puts me injured. Actually, yeah. Please grab me more. If it doesn't damage me, I don't know if it does or doesn't. And you see, I keep going into the screen to reload because I would just rather do that. Okay, this is going okay, save for the damage I'm taking. I messed myself up on that one. I might actually die here. Okay. Damn. And he's gonna, of course, teabag me. Fantastic. Wait. Make sure I have my shotgun equipped. Yep. Let's try that again, shall we? I'm gonna try a different strategy. Because the backing up strategy works for the first form. I think, for this other form, it's resulted in me getting hit like 3 out of 5 times. I wish I could skip this cutscene. I really wish I could. I've seen it like 400 times at this point.
It's still alive.
Mess that up. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm waiting. Maybe I'm waiting too long. I don't know. I think as soon as I turn around to him, I just need to start walking backwards. I will say another thing that I think some of this music is lifted from the other Resident Evil games, but I'm not sure how much of it is. I mean, regardless of how much it is. Damn it. I knew he would dodge that shit. Okay, I'm just gonna equip the handgun now. Handgun B. There we go. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, buddy. I gotta avoid getting cocky. See, what makes it is the fact that you have to get through the first form to get to the second form. Where they're extremely, but they're extremely similar. So, it just feels like you're having to fight the boss twice. I mean, yeah, the other one has like different tactics and slightly different tactics and stuff, but still. I mean, this is pretty much what the boss fight consists of. Is like doing that same thing over and over again, because there's not really any other strategy to it. Like, when I was trying to do it with just the handgun, it took so many magazines. Like, with that Cougar handgun, I think it took like, I don't know, it took a lot. Like, why does this damn boss have so much health? See. See, I'm not sure, like, see if I keep... Okay, what's that different strategy I said I was going to try? Because I think one thing said that to run forward when he jumps. Damn it. I'm missing all the shots I take. Damn it. Alright. Hold on for just a second. Because I've got to go to the bathroom. Hold on for just a moment. Tasty. I also had to get some water too so I don't die. Yeah, I don't think I've gone to the bathroom the entire time I've played this game. So I'm playing through the whole thing without going to the bathroom. I don't know if that's healthy. Okay. Anyway, yeah, the problem is that you have to do it for 2 different fights. And after that first aid spray you get with that hunter, that's all you get. As far as I know.
Get in the helicopter!
And one of the problems is because this game didn't come with the gun peripheral, of course, you have to use the controller joystick
Still
stick thing.
alive.
But the thing that makes that frustrating is that the auto aim, you know, using the left bumper, is not very foul. It's not very good. As you can see, a lot of times when I, you know, quick turn or something, and it misses, and it aims at somewhere weird, because it's just not that great. So you're going to give us, I don't know if the quick turn is in the Japanese version or not. So you're going to take away the gun support, cultural stuff, you know, the whatever, right? But if you don't know, they did that because of Columbine. They didn't want to have there be something that was made or intended in any way for kids, although it shouldn't be because it's a Resident Evil game. But because of that, they're like, yeah, we don't want something that looks like a gun that's being used by kids in any capacity. Okay, fine, right? I'm not gonna argue. But at least make the auto aim better. Especially because he's like so quick. It's like, really? You see, he does that kind of quick dodging shit. And so the auto aim can't keep up with a fast enemy like that. So it's like, why? Like, either have the auto aim be that fast or don't have enemies that are quick. There we go. Damn, he was one tap. And of course you have to watch these cutscenes every single time. They won't let me skip them. I don't know why either. So I don't know why some of these cutscenes like this one look so terrible. But other cutscenes are like rendered in-game. Or in-engine, whatever they call it. I don't understand why some cutscenes look fine and the other cutscenes look terrible like this. I mean, maybe I'm the fool, right? Maybe there's something I'm completely missing. And someone can explain it to me. And of course he does that goofy dash thing. See, you're not even sure what's going on because the game's in first person. So it's like, I can't even tell what's going on because I can't see him on my freaking screen. Yeah, like, and I'm not criticizing them for making it in first person, but it's like, you know, you gotta design your game around that, guys. Damn it. Alright, come on. I think this one's actually going okay. Okay, now, grenade launcher. Acid rounds. What? It would definitely help if I had a better idea. Well, this guy's got too much health, it's part of the problem. Like, I get it. In this game, you have infinite handgun ammo. It's like... So enemies don't necessarily need to be pathetically weak, because you'll never run out of ammo. However, that doesn't mean you need to make them bullet sponges. Ah, I messed myself up on that one, because I wasn't paying attention. And that's the problem with these guys. They're damn bullet sponges. Like, damn, even a lot of hard Resident Evil games don't have enemies that take this much punishment with a handgun. Oh, thank God. So that's really what did it, is having the Magnum. So it looks like probably about 12, or I'd have to look over the footage. 12 Magnum rounds, and then...
Hurry!
I don't know. Because I didn't use the Magnum any. I think I may have only missed 1 or 2 shots. He can also block your shots, but I'm not sure if it does damage or if it completely blocks it. I'm not 100% sure.
10 seconds to detonation. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This time it definitely went easier.
We're safe.
It can't be!
Didn't take me three fights. I will say this, that the way he ultimately kills them, while I don't know if it's actually possible, it's actually kind of fun.
Get down!
Actually, looking at it, I think it is possible, yeah, because the missiles are back there. Admittedly, that's a really cool way to kill the tyrant. Just launching him off with a missile and then shooting him with another missile. So I'll give the game that. At least that was really fun.
What are we gonna do, mister?
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
I don't know, but don't worry. We can fly as long as we have fuel.
And then it turns out they don't have fuel and they crash. I will also give it this. At least it's a Resident Evil game around this time that didn't feature somebody saying that they were going to get Umbrella, they were going to finish this, and then nothing happens. Like what happened with 3 and Code Veronica. And pretty much that's what they said at the end of 2 also. I'm skipping the credits. The song actually sounds like it should be in like Sonic Adventure or something. I got a rank B at least, so that's awesome. Hit average 77, killed 167 monsters. 3 continues gun collection. Nice, nice. Yippee-ki-yay. So yeah, you have to get like the highest rank to be able to get the infinite ammo rocket launcher. Didn't really increase my hit percentage enough. A lot more, but that's also because, again, a lot of enemies are fast in this game. And that's about it. You see, the game is actually really short, and even having to continue that many times, you can see it's still a pretty short game. Like I said, it's actually pretty fun. I'm not gonna hate on it. I may actually play it again just so I can unlock the last gun. Maybe even try for the top rank playthrough so I can get the rocket launcher. Who knows? Probably not, because as you can see how many times I get killed by the freaking tyrant. It's definitely not bad. I'll say that. It has a lot of ways it could have improved, and at least it's short. I'll say that. That's the biggest thing. The game's not very long. It's not like it takes a whole lot of time. Um, and at least it's super straightforward. Again, compared to other Resident Evil games, it pales in comparison. You know, the puzzles are nothing, right? Um, I'll even say the atmosphere isn't as scary, because especially when you have infinite ammo, zombies aren't a threat. The only reason why they even make them a threat is because when you first enter a room, zombies will be like right there next to you. But especially once you know to use the L1 button, it doesn't become a problem anymore. I definitely think it's worth the play if you like Resident Evil games. Hell, try it. Because part of the thing about this game, and I mentioned this the first playthrough, we won't talk about it again since the end of the second. When they first made Resident Evil, they considered making it first person, but they decided not to. You can, of course, read more about that. Um, and so this is kind of the extension of that idea where they're like, well, we want to try to make a first person Resident Evil game. And you can see in Resident Evil 7 and 8, those games are first person. So you see for quite a while. So since the inception of the series, they've had an inkling to try to make a first person game. And of course they did this and it wasn't well received for a variety of reasons. And then they eventually did it with 7 and 8. And I actually know quite a few people that are upset about it being first person. Because they prefer third person Resident Evil games. And I am actually on the camp that it actually doesn't bother me that much. Because again, like when we saw PT with Silent Hills, that was in first person and it was amazing. It's like it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be. You can change up aspects about the game as long as you don't change up everything about it. Of course, I think some of the other criticisms people have had is because of how much different it is. You know, you're not a biohazard contaminant. You know, you're not like the people trying to stop the evil virus, Umbrella, all that kind of stuff. STARS members. You're some guy trying to get his girl back, I think. I haven't played it, which is again, this goes back to why I started this in the first place. Is I haven't played those games. It's time for me to play them. I want to play the remakes of 2 and 3 also. So rather than just playing them, I might as well replay the entire series. And also play the games I haven't played, like this one. And I'm actually enjoying this quite a bit, for being the second playthrough I've ever done. I can't guarantee I will do another playthrough, but I might very well. My plan, of course, I gotta get set up for the Code Veronica stream. And if I don't feel ready to do that, I may play this again. But again, I'm also considering playing more Resident Evil 3 randomizers. Of course, if any of you guys are watching this and you have a suggestion or something that you think you'd like to see, whether that or something else, feel free to let me know. Well, it is time for me to go to bed at this point. That's all I really have to say about that, right? All right.